Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, so today we have on a special guest, Oscar Peccorini. He is someone that I've worked with regards to insurance for several of my buyers. So we refer him as an insurance agent to help our buyers with their new homeowners policies for their new homes that they buy. He's worked God, I think I've worked with him and his team for years. He's awesome. Little background on him on Oscar. He's from El Salvador. He grew up in Burlingame, California. Attended Cal State University Hayward and played soccer. I soon found that what he loved in the classroom would be best suited for a career working and helping people. So, as a dedicated, self-motivated individual, he set out to make a difference through basically tailorizing his services with insurance and financial towards families here in the Brentwood, California area. So, well, let me go see if I can find him. He's around here somewhere. I'll be back in a second. Boom, Oscar,
Hey,
how's it going?
great. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. So I told a little bit about you. I forgot to say Oscar has his beautiful wife Teresa, his three wonderful boys, and that you've recently, taken a liking to golf, and which is a passion of mine. So we see eye to eye on that.
Yeah, I've seen you hit some big bumps. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. So wanted to have you on because we have we have this in common, right? You try your best to help out home buyers and families with insurance and financial services, and I'm on a daily goal of helping my clients buy their new homes, and we kind of merge together at a point where I have to tell my client to get an insurance quote for their home, and it's kind of all over the board with where that could be. Um, I don't know exactly where we want to open up at, but I'd love to hear kind of why you got started in insurance.
Yeah, that's great. That's great way to get started. Yeah, well, you know, I started out, changed my career course in 2001, got my securities licenses and became actually a financial advisor for MetLife Securities at the time. And funny enough, that's 2004, 2003. My wife and I were about to get married. We were trying to buy a house, and it brought us to Brentwood. We used to live in Walnut Creek at the time. And so we moved to Brentwood. That's where we found our home back in 2003. And so the commute got to be a little bit too much. We didn't have a bypass, for those people that don't know about those good old days. And so I put my resume out there actually to see what I could find closer to home. And I was recruited by a big name insurance company. I didn't even know anything about insurance at the time. I just was focused on my financial planning aspect of my business. But I said, hey, whatever gets me to work close to home. That was my goal, honestly. Well, almost 20 years later, I'm still, doing insurance. It was a great marriage between insurance and financial services. I love the service aspect of it. It's really the people that are successful in the insurance industry are people that really have a service heart and really care about people, honestly, and like to be there as a first responder, really, for financial first responder. If somebody has a claim and their house is on fire and or life insurance, we're the first one there with a check. And
So that brings up a point, and we didn't talk about this recently, but one of one of my past clients, a good family friend who's referred his friends to me in the past, had made a friend at work young female, super nice gal, had always wanted to buy her own home, was looking in this area, Brentwood, Oakley, Bethel Island. She was trying to find a house on the water, but it's super expensive to buy a house on the water in Brentwood, in Discovery Bay or Bethel Island. And so she ends up finding a house on the lake up by Napa. What's that? What lake is that?
Berryessa?
Lake Berryessa, right? Lake Berryessa, which I had never actually even been up there. It's the craziest thing. I've driven past it a billion times, but never been up there. And so I went up there one weekend with my family because we wanted to see her new house and check everything out. And it was just gorgeous. Her house is overlooking the lake. She was super excited, but I swear to you, it was 2 weeks after we went to that lake. It was a month and a half, maybe, after she closed escrow, that those huge fires came through California. And I mean, they have had fires in that area before, but they have a fire department for the Lake Berryessa Highlands, and that fire department was called to, I think, Vacaville or Fairfield, because the fires were so bad there, leaving no one to put out the fires in the Berryessa Highlands. Several houses went up in flames. Hers was one of them. And so I just can't even imagine what that's like on your end.
Yeah, it's obviously we have to be there and make sure that they have financial help to be able to live somewhere else immediately, for hotel money, and put them up, get those arrangements going, and be there for them to make sure that they just lost their home, right? And
yeah,
the last thing we want to do is make the process of getting that home replaced even more harder, So yeah, it's something that we, you have to really love helping people to be able to, worry. I walk around, looking at risks all the time, with the insurance, mindset, right? It's like, oh, wait a minute, that's a potential risk, right? Somebody's going to fall, you know what I mean? It's a whole different world. But yeah, no, so the funny. Fires have been crazy.
Yeah. And that I remember that particular scenario that was so far out of left field. I never would have considered having something like that happen, where, I mean, I was just working like crazy trying to help this gal buy her first home, and then she lost her first home and everything else that was in it. And it was like just mind-boggling to me. But and she's not the only one. I mean, there's several. A coworker of mine lost their house in that same fire. So, and I know I've heard the two sides too. The coworker of mine, she was insured through a different agency. She had problems. I mean, it wasn't a simple experience for her. She had multiple issues trying to get funding from the insurance company, which, to your point, when you've already lost your house and you've lost all of your belongings, which is probably the bigger challenge than just losing your house. It's like everything that's in your house is gone, right? Imagine that. And then the insurance company that you're trying to, that has your back, you think, you have a hard time just even getting through to someone, because you're dealing with this 1-800 number and customer service and hold times and blah, blah, blah. I mean, those are things I think about. And that's why, I mean, one of my biggest pet peeves is, it's why I started working more with you and having like a set insurance provider, is because in the process of buying a home, the buyer really, there's only a couple variables that they're in charge of. And I'm on a weekly pipeline call every week with all of these builder files. And I hear all the time that the condition that they're working on is the client needs to get their insurance in place. And to me, I would never have that as a condition that's holding up my loan. I do not want my buyer responsible for setting up their insurance. They don't know what they're doing. They're it's their first time buying a home in many cases. So
Right.
why would I not say, it's totally up to you. You can shop for insurance if you want, but we're going to provide you with a quote from our local insurance guy. He's local. You can call him. You don't have to call a 1-800 number. He's going to provide you with a quote. If you like it, just thumbs up and we'll set you up.
Right.
And um,
No,
9 out of 10 times, they just follow that path. There's rare exceptions where, and it's kind of with our probably with our VA buyers because they're kind of marketed, I think, hardcore by a particular agency or insurance agency, but they're typically more set on one company, and that's probably where I could use your help because for me, I'm like, okay, this insurance company is providing a quote that's twice, it's double what yours is, right? And so I'm thinking, is there something I'm missing? What are they doing that's so much better? And also, I already know that if something goes astray, my client has to deal with this 1-800 number, customer service representatives, all these challenges. And because we have to deal with it just to get the insurance quote details for the loan, which I would much rather deal with you and your team than that, right?
right.
So when we refer you one of our buyers that is kind of more set on using a specific insurance company, how do you, because I know you're not salesy, how do you try to help them go in the direction that's going to help them the most?
Yeah, no, and thank you for making sure that your clients are well taken care of. That I commend you for that because a lot of people don't do that. They just kind of leave it off to their clients and leave them hanging, trying to figure it out. And we really have a high priority for homeowner clients that are first time home buyers, and of course all of our clients, but first-time home buyers, we take them by the hand and try to show them exactly how every aspect of the policy works because they don't know. They haven't had a policy before. And we want to make sure that they understand all the coverages from the beginning. So we really take our time in really explaining and educating them on how the policy works for them. And as far as the difference, all policies really are very similar, very, very similar because all company and all process, all claims are really kind of handled similarly, except, when they have a personal agent instead of an 800 number, the agent can advise them a little bit better as to how to present the claim to the insurance company so they don't run into issues at the time of a claim. You may say, hey, if you call a claim 800 claims number directly, you may say something that may be detrimental to your claim and actually, where they might deny the claim. And it's how you say things and how you present things, right? Or it may be considered one thing instead of another, and switching not just a home but for auto. Some things are comprehensive and not collision, but because you present it one way, you might pay a higher deductible than what you should be paying for that same claim. So that's what I'm here for, during, not just at the point of sale, because that's just the initial relationship.
Well, that's
I'm here
that's the
long
part.
term.
That's the part sometimes where, or you and I, we've bumped heads because sometimes, Oscar, I gotta be honest. Sometimes I'm like, they just need the insurance. We need it today to close. They
Right.
told me they like it, and you're like, I gotta talk to them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they can't talk to you. They're busy. Like, wow, just
Yeah.
freaking send us the thing so we can
Yeah.
fund the loan.
But
And you're like, no, Nathan, I need to talk to him, and I'm like, no. Yeah,
yeah.
that's where we bump heads.
Yeah, no, and I know it's frustrating because I know where you're at and your team is at. Your team, you have a great team, by the way, of providing us, they provide us with everything we need to do a proper quote from the very beginning, and vet it to make sure that it's a client that's going to work for them, a quote that's going to work for them. And but yeah, no, I have to make sure I do my due diligence
Yeah.
and talk to the client, not just an email saying, yeah, I'll go with you, and then that's it. No, that's not good enough for me. I would be doing you and your clients a disservice if I didn't take 15 minutes to just kind of high level, because I know they're busy. They have a million things going on there. And I tell them this, hey, I know you're busy, but this is the key points that I want to make sure you understand on how this works. And we have a process in place here where we follow up with our clients 3 months after the dust settles, after the purchase is
Yep.
closed and everything. We follow up with them to make sure that we touch base with them and go over additional discount opportunities, and of course explaining the coverages again to make sure that they know how their policy works, because there are so many moving pieces, right?
There's so many moving pieces, and that again kind of takes me back to I can't imagine doing what I do and not wanting to help my buyer, like knowing what I know about loans, about insurance, about funding, about all of the why how would anyone in the position I'm in not refer their buyer to a trusted insurance advisor like yourself, right? And
Yeah.
I don't even go down the other path of all the other things that you do. I'm just purely thinking from a perspective of insurance and getting their home ready to close escrow so they can move in and everything's good. And I've even told you, like, let's maybe be careful with getting into too many details because they're already dealing with so much right now, my buyers. But there there's like I think multi-line discounts that there's other things that you do, and I think what you typically do is like talk to them after closing, right? And you go over those things. But then there's also aside from insurance, there's financial services and things like that. So I know that there's so much more, um, but I don't want to get into that when they're trying to close on their home because I don't want to like over
Oh yeah.
complicate. My deal is just try to keep it simple, keep it flowing, get them in their new home. And then I like how you'll, kind of reapproach them after the dust settles, which I think is perfect because yes, then they don't have boxes everywhere and they can probably kind of reevaluate as much as I'd love to have them because really buying your home is a great time to kind of dial in everything, from
Right.
insurance, unit life insurance, financial services, all it's great, but there's just so much going on at that time.
Yeah.
But it's a good cue to have someone like yourself
Guide them through the
who not
process.
only does insurance, so it's not just 1-800 getting insurance, but it's, a financial services, agent like yourself where you're going to do insurance for them, but you're also going to help out with other things, right? And
Right.
that like what
Yeah.
else what else do you typically offer?
Absolutely, yeah. So, and then to go back to your original questions, and you mentioned price versus XYZ company that it's double the price, and then our price. Even though all, like I said, even though all insurance companies are regulated by the Department of Insurance, we all operate the same. We all have to follow the same rules, the same guidelines in terms of how to protect our clients, what coverages to offer, how to follow claims procedures and everything. We're all regulated by the Department of Insurance in California. So there's no real difference between one insurance company or another, other than you might see one on TV more often. The American National, even though they've been around since 1905, their business model has always been to really grow a market organically in the area where the agent is, and for the agent to kind of grow their own agency. I own my own agency, but I represent American National. And if there's something I can't offer through American National, I do have other outlets that I can go to. So I'm not just limited to one company. However, when it comes to American National, I found, I'll give you a little quick story.
Yep.
When I started with insurance, I mentioned I started with a big name company here in town. But in 2008, that company decided not to do financial services anymore. So I had to look and see what else was out there. So I actually interviewed with 6, 7 years of knowledge and experience in my bag. I went out and interviewed other insurance companies to see if I was going to be hanging my hat with them. I
Oh, that's
chose
great.
American National. I chose
That's
American
pretty
National
cool.
because American National impressed me, not because I knew them. I was thankfully I found them, and it's been 12 years this November, and I have not looked back. And none of the clients that followed me have looked back either. So they're
Let me
still.
excuse my ignorance, but because I have clients that have used the big companies, AAA, USAA, Farmers, State Farm, that like the big companies, and then there's also brokerage. And are you a insurance broker, or what's the difference there?
So the broker and captive agent, or a company that represents one company only, or we have the name of the company on our windows, or the doors, our signage. There's really no difference for the client. That's really more of a business decision for the agent. Some agents want to be broad. They want to offer insurance for limo companies or the more commercial type stuff, or I kind of tend to stay in my lane. I have my demographic, I have my clients that I love. And so American National being for me in my business model, being associated with a great company like American National, serves my purpose, because my goal is to help somebody for their risk management and their financial services. Those two things. If somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, I want to insure my, my, I don't know, something, my limo company," it comes to mind. No, I don't. I can't do that. But let me refer you to a broker friend of mine who can do that kind of stuff. That's the
Gotcha.
difference. So that's the difference
But
between a
you
broker.
can do life insurance, right?
Yeah, so the services that we provide here are all the services when it comes to all lines of insurance, personal lines of insurance, auto, home, boat, RVs, toys, all that stuff. Financial services like life insurance, annuities, retirement plannings, 401ks. To our sweet spot is really, small companies like a dentist office or a realtor office, where they have 15 less than 25 employees for 401ks. We do those services as well. We do ag and commercial insurance. We work with a lot of farms around here, insuring their farms.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that. That's got to be nice out where we live, out in the
yeah,
boonies.
it's great. Yeah, I live right in our just in our backyard. Right, we have so many farms, and it's great. I was just at a farm yesterday with a client, and I love that actually too. You get to play with the horses and see different things. I take my kids all the time with me, and so they
Yeah.
can see different things. So farms are always amazing and
Oh,
fun.
that's
So
great.
we do all those things, but that's about it. When it comes to more commercial, technical insurance, we might not go there. And that's where I do have access to brokering out, but I seldom do, so I do
Okay.
have access to those
So
things.
that's kind of like us, I think. I think a lot of what you're saying is so in alignment with us lenders,
Mhm.
lenders and Loan Depot and Bank of America and Fremont Bank and the mortgage brokers. And it's like we're all the same, we're all regulated.
Mhm.
Someone's
Correct.
asking for a 30-year fix, we're all offering the same 30-year fixed rate. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
kind of like it's the same, right? But same deal. It's like, okay, my cell phone has been the same. Cell phone number is the same for 23 years. So and I give it to all my clients. So anyone that needs me can text me, can call me. You know what I mean? And that's a little crazy if you think about it, because I have a lot of past clients over 23 years, but I have not changed my number, and everyone has it.
Yeah.
So I don't answer my phone all the time, but I do work on the weekends, and so
You
that's
respond
quite
all the
helpful.
time. Every
But
time I texted you, or you're on it. You're on it. You're always on top of it. So that's
So
awesome.
I know I need to ask a few questions for my clients and for our upcoming clients and those that I refer to you. just basic questions that will help understand, I guess, insurance and whatnot. So there's premiums, there's deductibles. I know that for us, we look at the cost of the premium is one of the things that we like to compare, because if someone has a $1,200 annual premium, it's $100 a month. And so when we're doing principal, interest, tax, and insurance, and we're adding that $100 into the insurance, that gives us our total monthly payment for a home. If that payment is $50 instead of $100, I mean, you just saved $50 a month. That's a big difference to most of our buyers. And so, in your case, with the discounts that you offer, we typically, that's almost about average. Where if my buyer were to go to get their own insurance quote with whoever, it might be a $75 or $100 a month. And then with your quote, it might be, $50 a month. So premiums and deductibles, what can you say about those that help us out?
So, yeah, I started with American National 12 years ago when our rates, um, seemed to be on the middle to high end, and now we're on the low end of the rates. Why? Because again, American National has been a very conservative company from the get go. They were privately owned, and so they never had to appease to a corporate America, Wall Street. Okay, it's privately owned company, so they had a long term vision, and they set their rates to where they were profitable enough way from the beginning. They're still profitable, and so our rates have maintained as opposed to everybody else hemorrhaging money. And somebody has to pay for all those commercials. I'm sorry, right? It's logical, right? And it's who's going to be? It's going to be the client through premium. So if you're insurance, if you think about it, it's like a pool, like a co-op where we're all paying premiums into it. And if I have a fire, I go to the insurance company. They give me money so I can replace my home. Where does that money come from? From the insurance company and all those premiums that everybody else is paying. So if I'm in a pool with the biggest pool in there's a lot more risks happening, and there's a lot more money coming out the back end that I'm paying for. So that's really how premiums work with insurance. So just because one insurance company has lower premiums or higher premiums, they just have to compensate for more money that they're losing on the back door. So it's not like you're buying a car. You're buying a service, and you have to evaluate it separate. That's what I explain to clients. When you buy a car, you're comparing two cars, and you're comparing the shape of the car, the mileage, and all that stuff. But here, you're not buying a tangible product that you can compare apples to apples. You're buying a service, and the rates are based on the service provided. That's all regulated by the Department of Insurance anyway. So we're going to have to provide the same service, plus the value that I bring to the table. So that's how rates work. We just happen to be on the right side of rates, and we like you said, I mean, we're sometimes 50% less than everybody else, especially with newer homeowners. A home that, in my opinion, I've gone to the home office, I gotta say, and I've said, hey, we need to raise our rates because our rates are way too low. They are, a home built in 2020, 21, 22, it's a third of what most people are charging right now.
That's our bread and butter too, because most of my buyers are buying brand new homes. So that's where it really helps to be partnered with you, because they're getting that value. And but then for my other clients that aren't buying, brand new, you would think that the discount on insurance would lead to poor customer service, or lacking of something. Like something's got to give, right? But it almost kind of feels like it's a reverse, and that's where your industry confuses me the most, because it's like some of the companies that I deal with, unfortunately, it's not by my choice, but my client picks this big insurance agent or agency to deal with, and then I'm stuck dealing with an 800 number to get this, that, and the other, and I'm like, why are you insistent on using these people? It just doesn't make sense.
It's a perception thing, I think, and that's why this is great to that you're doing to bring awareness to people that when it comes to insurance, it's really um, you're not getting anything better just by the image of thinking that you're paying more.
Yeah.
We have services like that other companies don't offer. The equipment breakdown, that where we insure actually the air conditioning, the water heater, the furnace, all of the big ticket items, pool equipment, pool pumps, for only a $500 deductible. We replace it if they die. It's not a warranty, but if they die, we replace it for you through the homeowner's insurance policy. A lot of companies don't offer that.
That's perfect. I was just going to ask you about, services and other things that you do, and what so if one of my buyers is comparing insurance, what tips can you, from an insurance agent, what tips do you have for a buyer that's hey, I don't know about insurance, what should I do?
Um, yeah,
What
you
tips do you have for
yeah.
like a buyer that's trying to, their uncle works for farmers, they have their auto insurance through AAA, and then they're buying a new home, and I'm like, talk to Oscar. What tips do you
Yeah.
have for someone who's comparing, you
Yeah,
know
our industry is a small community also. And, we really value loyalty. My clients have been with me, and in some cases, I know and they know they might be paying a little bit more than they could get out there if they shop around hard enough. But they know they're not paying too much more. They're not being gouged. Honestly, rates are what they are in different situations. And what I explain to people is that really, if you trust and have a good relationship with your agent, is invaluable. You need to have an agent that you trust and you can count on. Of course, when you're first talking to a new client, a new referral, they don't know sometimes any better, and they don't know me, right? So really, what I try to make sure I demonstrate the fact that I'm going to educate them and bring value to the table to make sure that they get all the information they need to make a smart decisions for themselves, a very wise decision for themselves, but for themselves. I don't try to guide them and say, hey, this is the best thing for you, because honestly, I don't know what else they are seeing, so I can't say that.
yeah,
But I know I am the best at what I do personally, because I take pride in my agency. I take pride in my business. I've been in this business for over 20 years. This is my livelihood. I'm not going anywhere. It's not like, I'm just, I got to try insurance now because, no, because something else is that. No, this is something I've been doing for over 20 years through ups and downs in the market. And the I think the value that I bring is for myself and my agency is that we have a very consultative approach through the financial services mindset, right? So we help you get from point A to point B, in the most effective way possible, right? So I really take time to really find out what the client is looking to do long term, to really develop that relationship and help guide them through the process from point A to point B with my services. So
perfect,
yeah.
perfect. I love that. And when I think I see with you, I kind of see me and the way that I do business, and it just seems similar, and so I like that, where it's not like Oscar is, it's 5 o'clock and he's got to clock out because his shift ends at 5, and it's noon, he's got to clock out because he's out from this to the, it's not like you're at a call center. It's like, you're helping people in, you're helping your clients, you're helping the community, you're involved in the community, you you work and provide services in the area that you live, and so do I, right? And so it's kind of like, I tell my clients the same thing. It's like, yeah, I'm here at the sales office of new construction homes. I'm doing your loan. You're going to close escrow. You're going to live in the home. I'm still going to be at the sales office. So if there's any problems, I'm right there. So
Right.
it, and I'm probably going to be coaching your son's baseball in a year or whatever, and like you're,
Yeah,
doing soccer, I'm doing baseball. It's
yeah,
like we're in the community. So what, like if me personally, if I'm working with someone and I know that they're going to be around, I know that they have to do a good job for me. And I kind of feel like we're doing the same for our clients. Like, hey,
right.
we're here. Like
Yeah,
we're here to help you. We're not going anywhere. We're not hiding from you. So we are going to do a great job.
yeah. It's not a
Or we're going to
transaction.
hear about it.
Yeah, we're most of our clients, and I'm sure you can say the same. They're friends. They remain. We become friends, and we are neighbors. And the
Yeah.
big bulk of our clients is in East County, right? So I do insurance everywhere, all over California, and I have clients all over California. But obviously, the big bulk of our business is here in the Bay Area in East
Yep.
County, and we are here. We are all over the community, and so, I think that we bring a lot of value to that, for those people. And again, some people don't care about that, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever. But the client, we're the right people for the right. We're the right agents for the right people,
Yep.
and we not everybody values value,
Yep.
or good service.
Well,
So
trust me, we get that too.
yeah,
We probably get it more regularly than any other industry because everyone thinks, well, the go-to question for every single person that sees a lender is what are the rates? What's the 30-year fixed rate? And for me, that question in my head is just like, okay. I mean, I can look it up online. Like it's something that's available online. We can look at the Fannie Mae Freddie Mac 30-year fixed rate online right now. I mean, it's not, and that's what we offer. And that's really what all lenders offer. And so it's kind of
transparency.
like, but but it's so much more than that, right? Like, how do we get that into your heads, everyone? Is so much more than what's the rate. Like, there's so much more when you're buying a home. We're all pretty much doing the same thing, but
Right.
there's just so much more accountability needed. And I'll tell you, in our industry, buying new construction, when someone wants to use their own lender or an outside lender and not the preferred lender with the builder, I just it's the hardest thing for me to get over. And I want to help them not get in their own way, but they're getting in their own way. And even myself buying new construction, I've used the builder's lender because the builder's preferred lender just gets the job done better on new construction. I tell my clients, if they're buying new construction with a different builder, use that lender because that's where the deals are. Now, however, where I'm working, where I'm the preferred lender, they need to work with me, right? Same thing, because we're going to make sure everything goes through smoothly. They get their keys on time, and the little difference of going to your walkthrough when your home is completed, doing the walkthrough, and just being super excited and getting your keys after that walkthrough versus doing the walkthrough and then not getting your keys because your loan hasn't funded. And then, Saturday passes, Sunday passes, Monday, maybe the lender funds your loan. So then Tuesday, maybe the county records and maybe you get your keys on Tuesday. Wouldn't you rather move in on the weekend? And I mean, that's like the little things like that where they don't really think it through. But this other lender had this much better an interest rate. And it's like, yeah, but it's the big picture. It's
Right.
hard to explain that sometimes, but
Right. Yeah. And it's, whenever the left hand doesn't talk to the right hand, that just leaves a big room for error and things like that to happen, delays and problems. So it's a no-brainer. If the lender, if the lender is offering you this, if the builder is offering you these lenders, because they're going to communicate, the left hand's going to talk to the right hand. That's what you
yeah.
want, communication.
Yeah. Well, and new
Team
construction,
effort.
it's funny too because like I had mentioned, when I'm on these pipeline calls and a lender says, yeah, we just have this, final remaining condition, our borrower needs to get insurance. I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, this is crazy because, like, again, for us, we want to have that all figured out, dialed in. The last thing we want is we're getting ready to fund the loan and we can't get the lost payee information over or the binder over from the insurance company, so the loan can't fund, and that's on a Friday or whatever, so now the our buyers can't move over on the weekend. Like, I would never let that happen, right? Because it's more of like that personal accountability. But the guy that's in the call center that quoted you that super low rate, he's off. He's gone. He's out partying for the weekend. Good luck getting a hold of him, right? Same thing with the insurance, right? Good luck getting a hold of that guy at whatever insurance company. And it's like you and I, like, we're here to help.
Yeah. No, I'm like you. Most of my clients have my cell phone number, and it's I prefer it that way. To be honest with you, it's just easier to just have quick communications with clients for all aspects of the business. To initiate the business, to keep it going, and if a claim happens, I want to be there. I want to make sure, because if a claim goes wrong, guess who's going to hear about it? Me. I don't want a claim to go wrong, right? So I want to make sure I'm proactive at making sure that my clients contact me first, and then we go from there, because I want to make sure that we don't have any issues.
No, that's so that's the same. That's the same. And that's a turning point for me in my business,
Mm-hmm.
because early on, I looked at the loan as kind of like a start and finish. And so fund the loan, we're done, help the next client, right? And so, but I've definitely reevaluated that, because what happens with buying new construction is, and it happens also often, especially where we live, because there's these special assessments and things like that, is the taxes aren't paid properly or not set up properly in some cases, and then there's a reassessment or a supplemental tax bill. And so a buyer with an escrow account, they have this additional stuff to deal with after closing. That's a little tricky, and it's tricky even for me, someone who's in the industry. I've bought 3 new homes. I've dealt with it on each of them, where 4 months after buying the home, I get a check from my mortgage company for 5 grand. And it's like, here you go, $5,000. And I'm like, woohoo. I need to know that that is money that I need to put aside, because I'm going to have a supplemental tax bill sent to me from the county saying I owe 5 grand because we underpaid. And this whole cycle, it's like, I don't want my home buyer, trying to deal with Loan Depot 800 number. Just call or text me if something comes up, because like you said, you ultimately just want to help them, but you don't want to be the last one to find out that they're having a problem. Rather be the first one. So you could just go, oh, this is an easy fix. Like, because it's actually an easy fix. Okay, if you get a check for an escrow refund, don't spend it, put it aside. You're going to get a supplemental tax bill. You'll apply that, right? Yeah. If you get a bill from escrow saying you owe 5 grand and you didn't get a check, it's still in your escrow account. Let me get that refunded to you, or get that paid to the county. But those things, like for me, I'd much rather be in the know on that and just help out. It takes me 2 minutes to help someone with that. And then I don't have someone that's got all these stressful things going on with their mortgage. Same with you, I'm sure, with insurance. So.
Right. Yeah. Same way.
Well, hey, we are running out of time, and I appreciate you coming on in such pretty short notice. I appreciate it, Oscar. So
you got it, man. You got it.
Yeah. So we'll have to do a follow-up at some point, but definitely appreciate you coming on. And
yeah. We could talk. I could talk insurance and financial services for days, man. Love it. So awesome. Yeah, definitely. We'd love to be back, do something more more in depth into nuts and bolts, and maybe what your clients can look out for on
You know what
coverages.
we'll do? Yeah, you know what we'll do is the next month or two, I will compile some questions that I'm getting and some
There you
bullet
go.
points that I'm getting from clients, and we'll just handle those. We'll go
There you go.
over some frequently asked insurance and financial
Hmm.
services related questions, and
There you
we'll
go.
we'll get that because I'm trying to get as much helpful information from my clients as possible. So that'd
Very
be
cool.
awesome.
Good for you, man. Good for you. You're doing a great job for your clients. Every client that you refer to me, they love you. They love your team, and nothing but good things. So keep it
Awesome.
going. Keep it going.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Oscar.
All
We'll
right,
see you.
buddy.
All right. So that was Oscar. Boy, that was exciting. It was a fun time talking to Oscar. Never had so much fun talking about insurance. You never would have thought we would have had a blast talking about insurance, but we have had a blast talking about insurance. And so we will see you guys on the next one. And if you have any suggestions on who you'd like me to interview, just let me know.